Buzzband.
This is actually Alberto versus Adrian. I'm sorry, not Quinn. So one huge thing to note here, Alberto actually had a team sheet error. Now, while he did not lose the Raichu, which the error was on, he did take the game 1 loss. So Adrian up immediately there. Very possible that you'll have what is basically a best-of-1 set. From Adrian, we see the return of Incineroar, while Tapu Koko, Gardevoir, Snorlax, Amoonguss, and Landorus Therian join it. While from Alberto, we have Gengar, Landorus Therian, Raichu, Tapu Fini, Cresselia, and his own Incineroar.
Yeah, so we thought we were casting Quinn Johnston, but I guess we just liked Gardevoir so much that we wanted to bring it back again.
I mean, we had to get my smart money on stream. And while he does have this game 1 detriment, Alberto's such a strong and consistent enough player, I'm not worried at all.
Okay. I mean, we did see my smart money just lost, so I'm not sure.
I'm the only one left. Okay, let's go, Alberto. He's got this, man. His team also very unique among Top Cut. He's the only Mega Gengar, something that sort of naturally threatens Gardevoir, especially with such big moves like Sludge Bomb, where you get the same type attack boost and the super effective damage. Though it looks, I think that the combination of Gardevoir, Amoonguss, Snorlax, very potentially scary for Alberto. From Adrian, we do see Gardevoir and Incineroar lead. While from Alberto, we see Landorus, Therian, and Raichu.
Yeah, so I guess the nice thing about, like, Alberto got the game lost, but he didn't lose a Pokemon.
Right.
So that might actually be better for him if he's able to win this game,
yeah.
too. Adrian definitely spent a lot of time planning this out, though. He felt really confident going in. He wasn't sure how Alberto was going to deal with the Gardevoir, because Sludge Bomb is scary, but then Gardevoir can survive it and then Psychic back.
Right. It has very naturally high special defense.
So it'll be interesting to see sort of what the game plans are going into this, where Alberto really knows he can't slip up here, because if he loses this one game, then it's all over.
Oh, yeah. The Landorus Therian on Alberto's side, also very interesting. One of my favorite sets I saw all day yesterday, actually using the Swords Dance with the Tectonic Rage. So something that, it's nice when you have Intimidate going around that you can just kind of, even if you get intimidated, you're still at +1 stage of attack. And with Landorus, just monstrous attack stat, that's going to go very far.
Yeah, I think Landorus is terrifying here because of the Raichu Fake Out, also making sure that Adrian can't just go for Fake Out Trick Room.
Raichu free to Fake Out here, though. Adrian playing it very safe, protecting the Gardevoir, preserving the Lightning Rod, and bringing out the Amoonguss. Raichu actually did go for the Fake Out onto the Gardevoir slot, picking up that free Swords Dance. That's exactly what I wanted to see in turn 1. Thank you so much, Alberto.
Yeah, I think things are getting really scary really fast for Adrian. At least I feel like maybe Gardevoir can pull off the surviving.
It might be able to.
So I like with Amoonguss redirecting the Groundium, he might still be able to set up Trick Room and sort of work positioning from there. But definitely much scarier to see Landorus get the Swords Dance, and it could always just Rock Slide.
Yeah. I mean, when there's a Rock Slide that goes away, it's basically one of VGC's main mantras at this point. Rage Powder going for the Amoonguss, going to redirect anything Raichu does. The Volt Switch, maybe an Earthquake, you don't want to take that on your own partner. Switch out of there for free, deal a bit of chip. It's actually possible that that could matter on the Amoonguss, but I'm not super familiar with +1 Earthquake rolls on the Amoonguss slot, and it also depends on how that Amoonguss is trained, of course. You know, a great example being in the last game, Manectric's Overheat did 80% to Amoonguss. Some Amoonguss are going to be KO'd from that. Some are going to take that much better.
Yeah, and then that Acrobatics did almost nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, probably more physically bulky on that set, but I'm not sure what Adrian's is.
Alberto taking his time and just wants to make sure that he chooses the perfect partner, actually choosing the Incineroar, realizing that the Trick Room is very possible, probably going for the Rock Slide, just as you said, and resetting that Fake Out pressure.
Yeah, I think one of the tough things about Gardevoir is that it doesn't like opposing Incineroar much at all.
Oh, it goes for the Z move. Instead, you're going to see that Tectonic Rage hit the Amoonguss because the Rage Powder forces him to do so. So you're basically trading Amoonguss for Trick Room at this point, but because of the huge threat that is and likely Snorlax in the back, might be a worthy trade for Adrian to make. Amoonguss, you know, it's funny that mushrooms kind of sprout out from the ground usually, but this time we're just like forcing it back in. Amoonguss not taking that nearly at all. That health just drained out immediately. Gardevoir not megaing on this turn, just going for the straight Trick Room, kind of preserving the speed. So maybe the Lightning Rod is what you wanted. Did it get Lightning Rod? Yeah, it must have. But then...
Didn't it get... Yeah, otherwise Landorus wouldn't have done enough damage with Groundium Z to KO Amoonguss, I think.
Maybe there must be some odd interaction between Rage Powder and Lightning Rod, because he did Volt Switch.
Oh.
But Landorus is at +1 because it KO'd the Amoonguss still.
Sorry, everyone. We'll get back to you on
No,
that. But
obscure mechanics and interactions, it happens.
I think, but it's also fair that maybe that Gardevoir is just trying to sort of preserve Trace if it needs to switch out.
Yeah.
Because that's something that's going to be valuable in the future for getting Intimidate, for getting
Right.
Lightning Rod again. I think going to be tough for Adrian to adjust from a deficit, but he definitely got Trick Room up, and so if there's a way to to recover, then it's right now. Also, probably a relief to see that Raichu wasn't the safety goggles encore.
Right.
Because that would have totally lost Adrian that game last year. Getting Gardevoir on-court into protect, and then Amogus doing nothing.
I mean, the Incineroar face-off, very important here, as they should be able to stop each other's offensive Pokemon. One of the nice things about not pressing that Mega button, as you said, is you preserve Trace. And because Alberto has 2 Pokemon with the Intimidate ability, the odds of getting one off for free aren't terrible here. Alberto recognizing this and switching that Landorus out for Raichu. You want the fake-out pressure as much as possible to burn out those Trick Room turns. Incineroar should be getting it for free here, as Adrian does decide that now is the time to go into the Mega Gardevoir. Probably going to try pressing Hyper Voice. The speed potential tie from the Incineroar incredibly important here, as we do see oh man, Adrian's goes before Alberto's gets the fake out, allowing for that free Hyper Voice damage, especially on something like Raichu. Pretty devastating, putting both Pokemon into pretty uncomfortable ranges.
Yeah, I think Alberto's got the fake out to maybe recover from the spot, but definitely a really good turn for Adrian. I think he was talking to me earlier about this, that he's pretty confident his Incineroar is slow enough to get the fake out on other Incineroars in Trick Room. So that Trick Room not only helping the Gardevoir, but also allowing the fake out pressure to be on Adrian's side and not Alberto's.
I mean, what you could see here is just a fake out with a switch from the Incineroar. Try to get the Intimidate cycling as much as possible. Have something that can sort of protect pretty safely. The Tapu Fini, something that doesn't care at all about the Incineroar. And the fake out going to be covering that Hyper Voice option. The Misty Terrain coming out. But there wasn't anything to really cause status, at least from Adrian's side. As you see the Snorlax go in. Perfect timing, really, is the Tapu Fini Raichu combination not going to be enough to stop you from really setting up and sweeping. Gardevoir is faked out, but not enough. I mean, the Snorlax now is more the issue than the Gardevoir, and this is, I think, what Alberto feared the most.
Yeah, so I think Adrian recognizing that his Incineroar's job wasn't really to stay in, but just to come in every now and then and fake out and intimidate, and then that Snorlax really needed to be present for Trick Room to be as threatening as he wanted it to be.
Yeah.
I'm interesting to see how Alberto's Incineroar come out, because I think it maybe could have done some damage to the Gardevoir. But having Finny present is definitely helpful if that Incineroar had stayed in.
Incineroar going to be lowering Snorlax's attack, but if he does press that belly drum button, which really didn't have a lot of punish aside from maybe a very... No, even then, Gardevoir would have hyper... I was going to say that Raichu could try pressing Encore, but it just would have been KO'd. The belly drum powering up Snorlax all the way, making that Intimidate rendered useless, really. Snorlax going back up to full health thanks to that Gluttony ability, and you're going to see Gardevoir getting off a free... Or you already saw the free Hyper Voice. The Tapu Fini going for the Calm Mind. He's trying to basically create his own offensive situation, but Snorlax just be able to boost so much faster than Tapu Fini. Oh, Gardevoir didn't go yet, but it does do enough to... Oh, no, just barely hanging on, activating that Barrier on Incineroar, and the Tapu Fini's increased special defense makes it take that a bit better. At least you now have another turn of fake-out pressure to create some better situation. It's not completely over at all.
Yeah, so I think... Adrian really had to have that Snorlax in to be threatening. Like, it's important to note that the Gardevoir wasn't, like, quiet in speed, so that Finny got to Calm Mind before the Hyper Voice.
Right.
And Alberto would have had smooth sailing from this point on without that Snorlax. So Adrian playing that really intelligently to get it in to be as threatening as it is.
The fake out from the Incineroar going to stop the Snorlax from attacking, as it would be able to get basically a free KO. Ooh, Gardevoir dodging that Muddy Water as it only hits the Snorlax, but probably not going to do enough. The accuracy drop would greatly help, but not there. Hyper Voice just screaming in the ears. Incineroar taking it, but now Trick Room is gone. Snorlax being the slowest thing creates a possibility for just targeted double taps.
Yeah, so if Alberto can sort of keep Trick Room from coming up again, he might have a way around Snorlax, but it's going to be really tough.
Yeah.
Gardevoir is kind of faster than both these Pokemon and could just Hyper Voice if it wanted to.
And it doesn't help that one of the offensive threats also carries Trick Room, so now you have this whole mind game of, is he going to Hyper Voice me or is he going to press Trick Room?
Yeah, I think Gardevoir's been really scary in both of these sets that we've watched. Just being able to sort of use Hyper Voice as much as possible to do damage to everything, and then also go for that Trick Room to set up a partner.
right? And you can tell that it's a scary situation. Even the Intimidate switch in wouldn't be enough, and Raichu's not something that can safely switch in. I think that Adrian's very likely to get a KO here. The Hyper Voice coming out before anything else should be able to pick up the knockout on that Incineroar, leaving Tapu Fini alone and scared. The Muddy Water probably coming out. You really want that accuracy drop as the Tapu Fini heals up, but that won't be enough to save it from a frustration. Yeah, Muddy Water does indeed come out. Alberto's practically crossing his fingers for an accuracy drop at this point. It's absolutely vital on the Snorlax. He doesn't get it. The return, smacking that Tapu Fini. Easy KO, forcing Raichu and Landorus Therian to return to the field.
Alberto absolutely had to hope for that accuracy drop.
Yeah.
One of those 2 turns, it was sort of his last hope there. I think at this point, he's going to be really hard-pressed to do much, although he does have Rock Slide.
He does have Rock Slide.
Nothing on Adrian's side is fast. So there
I don't remember if Lando is faster than Gardevoir. Oh, we wouldn't know because it wasn't Mega at the time.
Yeah, I'd assume so. But
yeah, I would assume because it has the Trick Room option, but it could just be like, hi, I'm fast Gardevoir to trick people with my Trick Room option. So the Raichu does create a situation for Fake Out pressure. If I don't know how he can. He could play it very risky, go for the Fake Out, Earthquake his own Raichu, sacrifice it, try to pick up a double KO, but I don't think he's in the range for that because he would then, if that actually worked, you would force Incineroar to come back out. Incineroar versus Landorus, very positive for you.
Yeah, I guess just if Gardevoir is able to stick around, like you do have the Fake Out into Trick Room, and then you're in just a fine spot. It's going to be, I suppose it's very much not over because Landorus is threatening everything on the field. But it's going to be really tough to work out the positioning properly when there is that Incineroar.
Yeah. I mean, he could just go for the switch and get the Intimidate. But the Fake Out coming out on... Ooh, just going for the Swords Dance, not believing that he's going to press that Trick Room. Trick Room is the end of the game here. He presses Hyper Voice. Oh, my. Oh, Alberto is back in this. You did see the Swords Dance go before the Hyper Voice. You now have that free Earthquake. You're at +2. So even if Incineroar comes in, you're going to be at +1. Earthquake should be able to pick up the KO on everything on the other side of the field.
So the problem is if
Fake Out plays.
If Adrian manages to get the Incineroar back in, then he gets the Fake Out Trick Room into Hyper Voice.
Yeah.
But he has to get this right.
Yeah.
Alberto protects here too.
Oh yeah, Alberto. No, he didn't. He didn't. Oh. Yeah. He had to press Protect there because you have to burn Gardevoir's Protect, making Snorlax do nothing. There should be a free Fake Out. That's brutal because that was the perfect recipe for a comeback, but it looks like Incineroar is going to be able to stop that through its Fake Out.
Yeah, I mean, if Adrian doesn't press Fake Out Trick Room, then there's still hope. But I think if he does, then it's over. Like Hyper Voice did just enough.
I mean, he didn't press Trick Room earlier when I think it was a bigger benefit than the Hyper Voice in that situation. True. So maybe he's not thinking about Trick Room too much, but I think in this situation it's very apparent, like, press Trick Room and I win. Yeah, I think there's no reason not to, really. Oh, well, Hyper Voice could probably pick it up anyway.
Oh. Yeah, if Landorus doesn't protect, then Hyper Voice is fine here.
Yeah, but Trick Room is a lot safer. You don't want Hyper Voice to be some roll. And because Alberto had that game loss coming in, this should be the elimination of Alberto Lara from our Portland Regionals.
So it is still possible to get 4 protects in a row.
Oh, always. I hope he goes for it. Oh, he doesn't. He's not going to bad manner his opponent. Flare Blitz hitting the Landorus should be enough to pick up the KO. Very well played by both players here.
Yeah, some really interesting positioning games from both sides. I think that Lando got 2 Swords Dances off in this set. And it was just so scary, but the rest of the team wasn't able to deal with the Trick Room pressure.
No, I mean, in the end, Adrian played very well early on, and the only way that Alberto really was going to make that turnaround is if he read the Protect, which is a scary read because if you get it wrong, you also just lost. But again, I mean, getting it off probably means you win. So it's a scary situation.
Yeah, it was a really tough call to make, and it just didn't manage. It didn't work out quite as well as he had maybe wanted to. But even if he had gotten that, Gardevoir could always just go for a double Protect.
Yeah, exactly. And if he gets it off, then you lose again. It might just be better to go for the Earthquake and hope that he just doesn't protect and force Incineroar back out on its own.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we both sort of had to watch our smart money picks.
Yeah.
And both the people I was rooming with, so maybe I should have listened to them more. I took a different smart money. I was thinking about maybe changing my smart money to Gardevoir, and I guess it's too late now, but clearly I should have.
I mean, Gardevoir definitely looking to be the safest smart money pick, but if I had to think about it just a little bit deeper, I think Incineroar was the smartest money we could have went for.
Oh, yeah, I think Gardevoir is useless without it.
Who doesn't have Incineroar on their team at this point? River was eliminated. He didn't have it. I guess. Oh, Sam doesn't have it.
Yeah.
All right, so basically. Oh, actually, I don't think Gary has it either.
I can't recall. I thought he.
Salamence, Pheromosa,
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe before we claim that, we'll just keep watching, and at some point we'll jump in and say, "There's only Incineroar left."
Yeah.
Or there won't be.
I'll still go with Incineroar as the safest money.
I don't know. I feel like without Gardevoir, Incineroar is really cool, but Gardevoir is like that really strong Mega that lets you exploit Incineroar optimally.
Yeah, but when you look back on the data, going back to the sample sizes a little bit, there's going to be more Incineroar than Gardevoir, so the money would still be safest on the Incineroar.
Well, but you want the proportion in Top Cut to exceed the proportion in the general tournament. And so, just because there's a lot of Incineroar here, that doesn't mean too much because there's a lot of Incineroar everywhere. But there's a lot of Gardevoir here, and there wasn't a lot of Gardevoir everywhere.
All right. I think that's pretty fair. Well, then, I guess we'll have to see how things play out. At this point, I have no idea who will be your next match, but it won't take very long to see that at all. Stay tuned. We'll be back in probably not just as quick a sec, but a sec.